So moving on to the Missouri Valley, obviously my beloved Purple Aces are a part of the Missouri Valley, so this conference is a little bit more to my heart, and I'm so excited to say that I think there is a possibility that we do see another two-bid Valley again this season. It's been several years since we've seen a two-bid Valley. During the years of like Wichita, we saw a few of them, and of course like Loyola Chicago. Like there's a valid chance that we actually have a two-bid Missouri Valley this year. And a lot of that's in thanks to both Drake and Bradley. So Drake has obviously been dominating. In fact, they drilled my Evansville Aces by nearly 50 this weekend, which was brutal. And one of the first games that I watched about 2 minutes of the Aces and then just immediately turned the game off. So aside from the fact, Drake's very good. Tucker DeVries is a stud. He's going to go to the NBA. There's no question about that. Drake is a tournament team, but so is Indiana State, obviously. We've talked about Indiana State. They went to Murray, kind of had a little bit of a scare this week. They were down by 3 at halftime. And then, you know what? They went to the locker room, made adjustments. They shot like 9 of 13 from 3 in the second half. They live by the 3. They die by the 3. They went in, made the adjustments they needed to, came out, beat Murray at Murray, and winning at the CFSB is an extremely hard thing to do. So that was a real testament to Indiana State's ability to adjust and win games when they're close and when they're in really tough environments. So sprinkling that with Drake has continued to climb the net rankings. Drake's up to 44 in the net, 48 in the KenPom. Indiana State's at 28 in the net and 43 in the KenPom. Indiana State just received votes as well for the first time all season in the AP Top 25 poll. So I think Indiana State Drake should be a lock at this point, given we do still have a lot of basketball to play. We still have a couple months to go until Selection Sunday, so a lot can happen. But I think where we stand right now, Missouri Valley is a two-bid league, and a big reason that this is being pushed outside of Drake and Indiana State is Bradley. So Bradley started off the season 6-0. They actually received one vote, I believe. Don't remember the exact week. They received one vote in the AP Top 25, and they proceeded to lose the next 5 games. So they started off 6-0, lost the next 5, and now they're on an 8-game winning streak. So now they are 14-6 on the season. So they've just completely turned around. Obviously, Connor Hickman is a big part of that. He's shooting lights out again. Over his last 3 games, he's averaging 16 points per game. And then Senior Duke Dean over his last 3 games he hasn't posted less than double digits in 5 games this season. Over his last 3, he's averaging 22 points a game. He put up 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in their 95-72 win over Belmont. They have now raised their net ranking to 63 and their KenPom to 75. So why this is so important is, if you go back to our last episode when we talked about Mountain West, having other teams that are extremely good in your conference is what's going to boost your conference's prestige. And right now, Missouri Valley is ranking about 9th in conference alignment this year in terms of like overall conference record and where they rank in terms of strength. So looking at that, Missouri Valley has historically been as high as 7 or 6, or I mean, not 6, 7 or 8. And this year they've been hovering around that 8 or 9 range. Earlier this year, I believe they were around 8. But some of these teams kind of fallen off a little bit. Illinois State's fallen off, USC, Evansville, Valpo. So some of those teams have kind of brought that back down. But where you need teams to improve, like what Bradley has done, is so important, because then all of a sudden Bradley has a 63 net now. So now you have 3 teams in Missouri Valley with 63 net or higher, including 2 of the top teams in the country in terms of mid-majors, and then you're adding Bradley into this mix. I don't think Bradley's going to have an at-large bid by any means, but let's say, something happens, Bradley wins Arch Madness, they go to the tournament with automatic qualifier, you're going to have Indiana State or Drake, probably Indiana State, but Drake also could be sprinkled in there as the second bid, as an at-large bid from the Missouri Valley, because keeping Indiana State out of there would just be criminal, and then Drake, again, is a tournament team. So it would suck to see something like that happen, but for Bradley fans, it'd be amazing. And for the rest of us Missouri Valley fans, it'd be super crucial to see that here, where we've kind of been down a little bit in these last few years. So being able to say, like, oh, great, we have a 2-bid Valley, it would be amazing to say that again. And I think that the Valley has a lot of hope here. I know there's already been talk about Indiana State's coach heading to DePaul, because DePaul just fired their coach today. But, he seems pretty happy in Indiana State. I think that, I think DePaul is going to go after maybe more of a power name, somebody that their NIL donors can come back. Because I know that there's been some communications come out saying that DePaul had the least NIL money in the entire Big East, which is probably valid. I mean, they've been a pretty bad team for the last couple of years here. I think the NIL money was around 500,000 per year, and then some teams were spending upwards of 2 million. Pretty big noticeable difference, but it's also really hard to get people to say like, "Oh, hey, give me your $50,000," when that person giving you the $50,000 doesn't have faith in your program. So it's the right move to fire their head coach, and I think DePaul is going to hire somebody maybe a little bit more name brand, try to bring in those donations. And I think Indiana State, unfortunately, just doesn't have that level of name brand, and no, he hasn't quite built up a level of prestige as some coaches would already. So he's only been there a couple of years now, but what he's done is incredible. Obviously, I mean he's taken Indiana State and just brought him to a whole other level. So I think we'll see his name tossed around, but I'm not too worried about that. So that's great for the Missouri Valley. It's great to have coaches like that can really help elevate the conference higher because it makes every other team better. It's going to be easier for smaller schools like Illinois State and Evansville and Valpo and all of them to recruit if the Missouri Valley is really competitive, and if the Missouri Valley can prove to have a two-bid conference or two-bid league chance every single season. Because then all of a sudden, those players have the ability to say, great, there's 12 teams, two of us can go to the tournament in every year in and out. And that's what's going to be so important for this league to move on.